Hey guys, welcome to Q&A Thursday. Today I want to talk about one of my favorite topics on the planet, which is food. I love eating and I love clean eating, and that's something that I say in my little tagline, which is eat clean, move every day, shine brighter. And I truly believe in the power of not only movement but also eating well to really work toward a total lifestyle that's going to bring you optimal health and healing and also a better outlook on life, a better mood. The thing is, food and what you eat affects your entire body. It's not just about fueling you for the day. It's not just about maintaining a nice weight. It is about how it affects your entire body, mind, and spirit. So the mood issues when it comes to food and eating well, eating unprocessed, healthful foods is something that I'm not really going to get into today. What I really want to focus on, however, is the focus of my YouTube channel, which is about core and pelvic floor health. Whether it's pelvic pain or pelvic organ prolapse or bladder leakage, or maybe you're having diastasis recti or gas and bloating or constipation, so many of these things are actually linked together, and so many of these things can be helped by eating well. So let's get right into it. What I'm going to do is start with a list of important foods to think about that are specifically chosen for their impact on pelvic floor and core health. And then after that, I'm going to share with you what I eat in a day. And so this is just going to be a sample representative day, and it's going to really show you how I eat a lot. and I think that the food I eat is really good and enjoyable, and I want to show you just kind of a little peek into my personal world at the end. So let's start by going through a list of individual categories of foods that are really important for you to consider incorporating more of in your diet. So gut health. Let's talk about gut health. That is something that's kind of popular these days, to talk about your gut microbiome. And that means little world microbiome. So the population of bacteria in your gut is astronomical. The numbers are staggering of how many living bacteria live inside your body. The key is to have a good balance of good bacteria, healthy, beneficial bacteria in your gut that outweigh the bad, more pathogenic bacteria and the yeasts and the fungus and the other things that can move around in there. A thing that's important to incorporate into your diet is fermented foods. So that can look like yogurt. People are generally familiar with yogurt as being a fermented food, but it can also look like kimchi or sauerkraut, fermented vegetables. Now, I make my own yogurt, although you can find commercial non-dairy yogurts as well. You can also, again, make your own sauerkraut and kimchi. It's actually pretty easy. I love making my own. And you can also purchase this at the grocery store as well. Just make sure that you're not getting the sauerkraut, or I've never seen kimchi in middle aisles, but make sure you're not getting the sauerkraut that is in the middle aisles of the grocery store where it's in a can. You want to look for the refrigerated, because that's going to be fresh and it's going to be full of the bacteria that you want, the beneficial, healthy bacteria for your gut. One thing you may not know about flora, the good bacteria, you might have heard of, probiotics and taking probiotic supplements and feeding that good bacteria in your gut, but you may not know that there is also flora bacteria in your vaginal canal, and you want to maintain a healthy balance all over. Chronic yeast or general dysbiosis, which means an imbalance of flora, of bacteria in the gut or the vaginal canal, is a common trigger for pelvic pain. So some symptoms you might see are bloating, diarrhea or constipation, or abdominal pain with meals, things like that you want to look out for. If you have any of these issues, it could mean that you have a dysbiosis in your vaginal canal or your gut, and again, you want to incorporate these fermented foods. So the next thing we're going to talk about, in keeping with the probiotics and the healthy bacteria, is something called prebiotics. Prebiotics are the food that feeds those healthy bacteria. So prebiotics are found in foods such as bananas, Jerusalem artichokes, which are different than regular artichokes, so keep that in mind. Onions, garlic, dandelion greens, chicory root. These are items that help keep you regular, and again, they feed the good bacteria. The next thing we're going to talk about, not related to bacteria anymore, are omega-3 fatty acids. Now, you can take these in supplemental form as well, but you can also get them in whole foods forms, which is my favorite way to get anything. And you can find them in salmon, so check out salmon, of course. You can also look into walnuts, flax seeds or flaxseed oil, even wild rice. I think this is fascinating that wild rice actually has quite a bit of omega-3 fatty acids in it. Now, wild rice also is high in B vitamins, manganese, zinc, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, and fiber, the all-important fiber to keep your bowels regular and your core slim because it's not being bloated and constipated. And also regularity helps prevent excessive straining and downward pressure on the pelvic floor, which over time can contribute to pelvic organ prolapse if you are straining on a regular basis. So again, the fiber is great. And also the omega-3 fatty acids in that wild rice that we've just been talking about, and in the salmon and the walnuts and the flax seeds, all of that can actually help with vaginal dryness in women, which is very common, especially as women go into perimenopause and menopause. Vaginal dryness is very common. So omega-3 fatty acids can help with that. Those fatty acids also help with brain functioning and just helping you think more clearly. They help with inflammation. It's just a wonderful all-around food that you should incorporate into your diet. So healthy fats are the next category I want to address, and that includes delicious foods such as avocado, olive oil, coconut oil. These foods really help, first of all, satiate you, so you're not feeling like you need to turn toward candy and chips and those carby things all the time. They keep you feeling satiated and full and just generally grounded so that you can help manage your weight and get off the blood sugar roller coaster. You want to get off of that jazz so that you can keep your weight stable, keep your mood stable, and of course, the stable weight and managed weight will help with pelvic health concerns. Not only will it make your core look slimmer and more toned because you don't carry the excess abdominal fat, but you're also going to prevent the excess risk of bladder leakage and prolapse, which can increase the more weight you carry. So that's why healthy fats can lead to satiation or a feeling of fullness, which can help with weight management. It seems strange that eating fats might actually help you lose weight or maintain a stable weight, but it's true. The next category I want to talk about is vitamin C. This is something that surprisingly, granted, we're not getting scurvy anymore necessarily like the sailors used to on the ships in the olden days, but people still are not necessarily getting enough vitamin C. So vitamin C rich fruits and vegetables include things like oranges and citrus fruits, which of course you will think of when you think of vitamin C, but also red bell peppers and strawberries are also very, very high in vitamin C. Now, vitamin C helps with adrenal health, and the adrenals produce your sex hormones and cortisol, a stress hormone. So you really want to make sure that those adrenals are supported by a vitamin C rich diet. So eat lots of fruits and vegetables. Colorful fruits and veggies are really important. Again, think citruses, peppers, berries. Oh, they're so great and so rich in vitamin C. Vitamin C also helps with collagen synthesis, which is important if you have diastasis recti, or the split, the separation in the muscles of the abdominal wall. What we're really trying to heal with that condition is the connective tissues deep underneath the abdominal area, and the connective tissues that hold all the abdominal muscles together. So collagen is the main component of these connective tissues, and we want to really support collagen production and synthesis and regeneration by eating a vitamin C rich diet. Speaking of collagen, another great thing to add to your diet is collagen. Gelatin can be a wonderful thing to add to your diet. Gelatin and also bone broth are both high in collagen. And so again, this can support joint health and also can support healing of diastasis recti. Similar to this path about healing the diastasis recti and supporting the collagen is drinking enough water. So hydration is really, really important. Collagen is made up of about 70% water, so you really want to make sure that your body is well hydrated with pure, clean, filtered water. Speaking of drinks, you want to limit alcohol and sweets. I know, two really fun things in life, but it's very important for your tissue health and also your hormonal health to limit the consumption of these things, which are essentially sugar. Alcohol is essentially sugar. It's converted to sugar in your blood, and it will make you high and then it'll make you low really quickly. So you want to watch that. It's going to keep you on the blood sugar roller coaster. Sweets obviously are sugar. So again, they not only can keep you on the blood sugar roller coaster, but they also can feed the yeasts in your body, which can lead to yeast infections. Repeated yeast infections can ultimately, in some people, contribute to pelvic tension and pain. So let's get back to a couple more food items that can be really, really great for core and pelvic health. One is dark leafy greens, such as kale is a great example. Calcium and magnesium is really a big component of this food, and these things are very important. Calcium and magnesium are very important for bone and muscle health. Another one that you want to consider incorporating into your diet if you are not a vegan is eggs. And eggs contain a good amount of protein and vitamin D. Vitamin D is super important for immune health. It's been really in the news lately that people don't get enough vitamin D. We spend so much time inside, and especially if you live in the more northern climates and northern places of the world like I do, it's just not that sunny much of the time. And being outside in the sun is one thing that can really help make our body produce vitamin D. If you are deficient in vitamin D, it might put you at more risk for immune issues. And one immune issue that affects your pelvic region is bacterial vaginosis. So that's something to really consider. When you think of immune support and supporting your immune system and having a healthy immune system, it's not just so that you can avoid things like the cold and flu. It's also supporting your guts and your vagina, your vaginal health, and the health down there. So something to consider with vitamin D, and eggs are a great source. The last thing that I'll talk about is just nutrient support. Unfortunately, the soils that our foods are grown in these days are largely over-farmed, and the nutrients are not as plentiful in the soils as they once were. So for many of us, we're not getting enough micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. Now, especially if you have irritable bowel syndrome or a history of food sensitivities that have been left unchecked, or any other gut dysbiosis issue, super common these days, unfortunately, you might not be absorbing your nutrients correctly or sufficiently anyway. So you might need, even if you've got a great diet, you might need to supplement with nutrient support. So a good quality multivitamin can be very, very helpful. I've actually found that my hair growth has gone off the charts since taking a high quality multivitamin and micronutrient supplementation program and adding that to my already fairly clean and healthy diet. It really makes a difference as far as energy, also mood, and just general health and well-being. So you might want to consider micronutrient support for your needs, no matter what they are. If they are just, healing diastasis recti, or maybe you're having pelvic floor issues or that kind of thing, good quality micronutrients can really support you. Those are the general categories of foods that can be very, very helpful for core and pelvic floor health. And again, we're talking about healing and dealing with issues such as gas and bloating, constipation, even diarrhea, vaginal issues such as yeast infections, pelvic pain, vaginal dryness. So yes, we have just covered those awesome foods, and they're good, they're delicious. Healthy foods don't have to be feeling like deprivation or restriction or just disgusting and bland and cardboard. They can be wonderful. In that vein, I'd like to talk about what I eat in a day, which I think I eat pretty darn good food. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to cover what I had. I just documented a day of my a fairly normal eating day. I really tried not to be good for you guys or change things up too much. This is pretty true to form. So I start my day always with a big, tall glass of water. Now, I said in the made a little note earlier that you want to really drink about half of your body weight in ounces of water each day. I really encourage everyone to get up and start their day, rehydrate the brain, the eyes, the joints, the tissues, everything with water. A big glass, first thing, before your coffee. So I put a drop of lemon essential oil, a certified pure therapeutic grade essential oil, not just any old oil you get off the shelf at the discount drugstore. I use a good one. I put it in my water, I swirl it around, I drink it down. And then I do have coffee. I am not ashamed to admit that I love my coffee, and I usually have it with homemade hazelnut milk, which is my favorite, or sometimes I'll use a store-bought purchased almond milk or flax milk or other non-dairy milk. So after my morning coffee and water and my morning routine, which I have a video about my morning routine. I'll go ahead and put the links in the notes below this. After my morning routine, I definitely enjoy a hearty breakfast. Breakfast is my favorite meal of the day. I wake up hungry, and so I don't wait too long to have my breakfast. I have a variety of things for breakfast. I sometimes will have leftovers from the dinner the night before, but I do tend to crave something pretty heavy and carby in the morning, like toast or a bread of some sort or pancakes. Now, I don't eat gluten. I'm 100% gluten-free, and I don't eat a lot of grains in general. I wouldn't call myself completely paleo anymore, but I don't eat a lot of grains. So I do tend to either purchase or make my own gluten-free or grain-free breads just to have on hand, and I'll usually make them and then freeze it so I can just pull out a slice or two in the morning and have it with maybe some mashed up avocado on it or something like that. Now, this morning in particular, I had made a batch of little muffins, little grain-free muffins that actually were made of soaked quinoa. It was a recipe I made up, so I can't even share it with you. But I made a batch of muffins in little individual ramekins, and they were quite good. And I topped my muffins, my little ramekin muffin, with a dollop of coconut milk yogurt. And this is not one that I made myself. This is one that I just bought at the store. It's what there was available. And I also topped it with some happy apples, which is, I made a big batch of happy apples. I'll put the recipe in the notes below. And I made that batch at the beginning of the week and just ate on it throughout the week. So again, I'm a big fan of batch cooking up big batches of things and either freezing or refrigerating them and then parsing it out throughout the week. So I had this same breakfast for about 3 days in a row. With my breakfast, I had my first round of supplements. I take my supplements with breakfast and with dinner. And so I had round one of my morning supplements, and then later in the day I had my dinner supplements. After breakfast, I moved along through the day. I tend to get hungry for lunch pretty darn early. I eat 4 solid meals a day. So I call it lunch 1 and lunch 2. Lunch 1 consisted of a big, nice salad. I have a big, nice salad almost every day. I love getting my vegetables this way, and I call it kitchen sink salad, where I literally throw everything left over onto a bed of lettuce. Now, my trick for salads is that at the beginning of the week, I'll buy my lettuce, and I'll wash it all. So I'll wash and dry using the salad spinner, where you pop up and down the salad spinner and it dries. And then I roll out paper towel and I put the leaves in a single layer on the paper towel, and then I roll it up and put all of that into a plastic bag. So you'll see in this photo here that there are two plastic bags full of lettuce, 2 different types of lettuce, and they're in paper towel. When the kind of damp, clean lettuce touches the plastic of the plastic bag, it can make it slimy. And so that's why it's really important to roll it up in a paper towel, and it'll last all week long, and then your lettuce is washed and ready, and you don't have to worry about washing it before each and every salad you make. So I have a bed of lettuce, and then on this particular salad, I put some roasted vegetables from the night left over from dinner the night before, and it included, I think, broccoli and sweet potatoes and beets and good stuff like that, just roasted in a lot of garlic and olive oil. And then I also put on some chopped up natural ham that is nitrate free. I make sure to get the ham that is nitrate free. Quality meat is very important if you're going to eat meat. I do eat meat. I'm not a vegetarian or a vegan. I eat meat, but I really try to make it more like a garnish and not eat a ton of it and make sure that it's high quality. So after lunch, I actually went ahead and got started with our dinner. I started thinking about it, and I put some things in the crock pot. So I just made a really simple, I had these grass-fed beef cubes. Now the grass-fed beef does tend to be a little, in my experience, does tend to be a little tougher than like corn-fed beef. And so I find that best results are when I put it in the slow cooker. on a low temperature for an extended period of time, it makes the beef more tender. So I had cubes of grass-fed beef that I put in the slow cooker, and I put in some Bragg's liquid Aminos is the brand. It's like a soy sauce, but it's gluten-free. So I put in some Bragg's liquid Aminos, and I put in some natural barbecue sauce. I believe the brand is Annie's Organic that I used. And I put it in the slow cooker and just let it simmer all day. For lunch number 2, which I always eat at about 3 o'clock, I usually have lunch 1 at about 10:30 or 11 in the morning. And then I have lunch number 2 at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I, for lunch 2, had homemade gelatin. Now, I had said in our earlier part of this video that collagen is really, really important for joint and muscle and bone health. So collagen is a wonderful thing also for gut health. Collagen is wonderful, and I like to make my own homemade Jell-O with it. Now, I make it very low sugar. It's pretty much half water, half juice, and then gelatin. And I usually put some nice essential oils for additional flavoring. So I make it really heavy on the gelatin, so they're almost like jigglers from your days past. It's not soft Jell-O, it's very firm Jell-O. So I have a big square of that, and then I also had some guacamole. Avocados are full of healthy fats, so good for you. So I had guacamole with some lime, some salt, and some cilantro. And then carrots are a great thing to dip in guacamole, but then again, so are chips. So yes, I am a real person. I do enjoy chips. I had chips and a carrot with my guacamole. While I was making dinner, I indulged in a mocktail. So I really like to have something sparkly and fun in a wine glass when I'm cooking dinner and preparing for dinner. Sometimes I have wine, but wine tends to not sit that well with me as I get older. And so I do try to have mocktails or alcohol-free cocktails more often than wine or any other type of cocktail. And on this day, I had some Natural Calm. It's a magnesium supplement. It's a powdered form of magnesium that I put into water. It kind of makes it a little bit fizzy. And I added a drop of lime essential oil to that as well. So really, really nice way to have a little fun cocktail while I'm making dinner. I also had a square of dark chocolate, which is my favorite pre-dinner treat. I do not like eating dessert after dinner. I like eating it before dinner. I find that it's a good way to prevent a sugar crash because you're going to be eating dinner soon after. So I have that little couple of squares of dark chocolate, and I always look for about 81% is my favorite, and just enjoy it, savor it while I'm making dinner, and then I have dinner so I'm not feeling that crash. I have food coming. I know I have food coming. So dinner was a really delicious meal. I was so happy with this dinner. We had some gluten-free bean thread noodles that are just simply a matter of boiling water, and you just soak them in the hot water for a couple of minutes and they soften up. So bean thread noodles. And I drained them and I mixed them in a nice sauce with some peanut butter, some Bragg's liquid aminos, some sesame oil, and some coconut milk. And that made a nice rich peanutty sauce. I put in the drained noodles, and then I topped it with some greens and some cucumbers, and then our beef that had been in the slow cooker all day long. I try not to put too much on each serving. Again, it's more just like a garnish rather than the main event of the meal. And it's a great way to get your muscle building protein, to leave you feeling satiated but not overly stuffed, and also to be easier on the planet. You know, it's important to not be overworking our already overtaxed planet with this crazy industry that the meat industry really is. The food industry itself just is a drain on the planet, but the meat industry is a big drain. And so not only for your health, but also for the sake of the animals and the sake of the environment, it is a good idea, I think, to cut down on meat consumption and not overdo it. Treat it with respect and enjoy it when you have it. So that is what I eat in a day. It keeps me happy. It keeps my core strong and toned and non-bloated. When I was eating gluten and dairy when I was younger, I've been gluten and dairy free for years now, but when I was eating that when I was younger, I spent my entire life feeling bloated, depressed, constipated, and brain foggy. I'm not that way anymore. And so it has done so much for my core health, and of course pelvic floor health as well. I'm no longer constipated. I don't have to push and strain to have a bowel movement every day. And in general, my guts have healed for the most part. My gut flora is rebalanced, and it's just made all of the difference as far as, again, mood, energy, general pain and inflammation, and health. So that's what I eat. Hopefully you've gotten some ideas of what you could eat to improve your general health and your core and pelvic floor health. If this information has served you and you're enjoying my channel, please subscribe, like, or share any of my videos. I look forward to serving you more and bringing you more great information about pelvic health and wellness. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember, eat clean, move every day, and you will shine brighter.